Hi everyone, it's Sam. Today we're going to be painting an Iron Warrior from the Horus Heresy. Now, Horus Heresy armies usually have quite a lot of infantry in them, so this is going to be a quick way to get a bunch of really cool looking troops on the table. To start with, I did an all-over base coat of Dwarven Iron. Obviously, if you're doing lots and lots of troops, an airbrush would be super cool, but if you're doing it by brush, the usual tips for base coats apply, and that is to thin the paint down a little bit and keep the brush moving quickly, and you're best off doing a couple of coats just to make sure that you've got a solid base coat to work from. Next, we're going to go in and bring out the definition in all the armour plates, and for that we're using Oblivion Black Wash. I'm going to just place it into the recesses. Fortunately, this Mark II Marine has a lot of really cool recesses to get in between all the panels, so that makes it a lot easier, but the same principle applies to any mark of armour you're doing. Once the recess shades are dried, we're going to add some weathering, and this is going to be achieved using Battlemud Wash, and we're just going to paint that from top to bottom along all the bottom edges of all the armour plates, and this will make the armour look dirty without spoiling the overall iron colour that we're looking for. And to finish off this simple armour recipe, I'm just going to do an edge highlight of Surcoat Silver. Now, I don't want to go any brighter than Surcoat Silver, but what we will do is, as we're edge highlighting, we're just going to put little flicks and little tiny lines along the edges just to create little scratches and scrapes, which further add to the battered look of the Iron Warriors. With the armour finished, we're going to move on to the hazard stripes, and to start with, I'm putting a solid base coat of Dark Sun Yellow down. With the Dark Sun Yellow all dry, I'm going to start sketching on the hazard stripes. Now, it's easier to put a stripe in the middle and then do stripes equidistant either side, rather than trying to do them from one edge to the other. That way you don't run out of space and you can make sure the lines are the right width to get the right amount on each area that you're doing them. And to do them does take a little bit of back and forth with the yellow and the black, but I find that if you sketch them in to start with and then neaten them up with the black and then go back in and touch up any mistakes you've made with the yellow, I find that's the quickest way of doing them. Moving on, I edge highlighted the black with Dungeonstone Grey. This was mainly on the bolt gun, but I also did a little bit on the soft seals as well as the hazard stripes. Moving on now to his trim, and I sat and pondered this one for a while. There was a few ways I could have approached it, but in the end I chose Ancient Gold. I figured this was a very nice brown gold, which will keep in with like the muddy effect that I'm trying to apply to his armour. Once that was dry, I added Battlemud Wash. This was to further reinforce the muddy nature of his armour, plus also to bring out contrast and the rivet details on his pads and the trim on his helmet. And to finish the pad, I've chosen Glistening Gold. I'm going to edge highlight this, and because I'm only using it as an edge highlight, it's not going to make the gold too bright, but it is going to let us define the edges and the details, especially the rivet heads. Finally, we're going to do some lenses, and I wanted to make these quick because, as I said at the start of the video, you'll be doing squads of 20 of these guys, so we don't want to spend forever just painting eye lenses and lenses on the weapons. So for this I chose a base coat of Sanguine Scarlet, and I just picked out the lenses and the eye lenses. And then to finish off, I did a little highlight of Demon Red onto the lens areas. And here's the finished Iron Warrior. Hopefully you can use this recipe to get an effective looking army onto the table quite quickly. If you like this tip, please like and subscribe. Until next time, take care.